What's happening, everybody? It's Spark, and welcome to episode 8 of my myteam career mode series. Today, we are in Baku for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix after another troublesome episode where my engine failed just after what was patch 107, and it just did me no favors at all. I just recorded this just after patch 108 came out, so let's see what improvements we can take into Baku. So guys, if you're new around here, obviously hit that like button and make sure you subscribe to this channel for some more regular F1 content. If you didn't see the last episode, I've obviously just spoiled it for you, but I'll leave a link to it anyway if you want to go and see it. In any case, we are going to head over into Baku just to see what we can do in terms of activities and upgrades. Thankfully, the wheel rim cover didn't fail on me, so I'm happy about that. As we do the Pirelli Hot Lap challenge, we are considering either average speed zone or the rival duel. And once I looked at my emails a little bit earlier today, what they decided to give me was a grand total of no points for the engine failure I had last time in Monaco. Normally they do give you a little bit extra resource points to accommodate, but no, it's given me absolutely nothing, which honestly I don't really know what to expect. Are you sure we haven't got an engine made by Ferrari? But in any case, less rambling, more talking about the Pirelli Hot Lap. I chose to do the rival duel, which I thought was quite an interesting one. It's one that I've never done before, but once I come round to Baku, it's one that is quite deceiving with the way you go through this corner. Because of the weight of these supercars, you can't just throw it in like you do with a Formula 1 car. You really have to be careful on the accelerator. Otherwise, with the weight of the thing, you're just slamming straight into a barrier. And Mr. What's-His-Face up behind me will surely get the win. But as we come round, it's just purely pegging him for straight line speed at this rate. The toe he gets is quite evident. As you'll see, the time's just coming down, down, down. Tremblay was his name. Thanks for that game. But as you come over the line, we won the first one, we won the second one, but sadly, we lost the third. So it's 2 wins, 500 acclaim, and 50 grand saved as well. So not too bad, all things considered. But I would have loved, obviously, a little bit more just so I can throw into developing my facilities. And particularly the reliability one, seeing as that I needed that one the most. But the aerodynamics of the car weren't particularly good. And going into practice, thinking about everything that happened with patch 108, it was meant to solve a lot of the throttle application. What was meant to be some of the key problems from the player side for the AI just being so OP in a straight line. And on a track like this, that's definitely going to hurt me. But one thing I found is that the car is still heavy as ever to drive. And I think that's just the real difference. I think the AI cars, they don't really have a lot of weight to them compared to mine. So it's really the weight we've got to get down. But the aerodynamics of my car has been absolutely shocking, to say the least. But in terms of the... I forgot what I was going to say then. In terms of the resource and developments and upgrades, there's a lot more coming off the durability, as you can see. And a little bit more off the chassis upgrades as well. Magnetic compound, that's something I'll definitely need to invest in, as the Earth's recovery on this car is just terrible, frankly. Especially on a track like this. When you think about tracks like Italy that have a lot of straight lines, and this car burns through Earth so quickly, to a point where I can't really go on the attack for anybody. I have to brake so hard and just lift and coast as much as I can. Well, on a track with 100 AI, it's very different. It's a level that I'm really struggling to compete, so I'm considering turning the AI down. But I'll let you guys be the deciders of that, so obviously skip to the end of the video if you want to see the poll. But for the meantime, we're going to spend the resource points rather, that we've so built up by getting a drag reduction upgrade for the suspension, or the tertiary wing flaps, I should probably say. And we're going to take a chance on this one. We're going to rush this one, because, quite frankly, with the 2 chassis upgrades failing last time, about 30%, I'm a little bit just like, sod it. What have I got to lose by rushing? Because it, frankly, doesn't make much of a difference anyway, because that's just how much this game likes me. But going into Baku qualifying, I'm running quite a bit of downforce on this car, just to make sure I can get through the tricky Sector 2 corner. But the trade-off there is I have virtually no straight line speed. So I have no idea how this one is going to pan out race-wise. But if we can get through Q2, that's a satisfactory result. It's one I'll certainly be happy with. But anywho, now we are into qualifying. on the long ass straights of Baku. And this is really through this section here. You've got to get on it so easily, and it's got to go down it so quickly, and it's so easy for me to lock a brake. I tried going in through everything in higher gears just so it can help prevent a little bit of wheel spin. But the problem is, I think that cost me overall speed. Thankfully, with engine braking, that should help to slow the car down just that a little bit extra. But anyway, we come across the line, we're struggling to hit 340. It's a 41.6 for our first overall best, which is only good for P6. But as you'll see, that's only good enough for about 15th place. So we've got to go out again just to make sure that we can actually get through into the session. The next one, rather. And I don't think this patch has really solved much from the AI perspective. It's just, the thing is, what they've tried to do is trying to make our car a little bit more empowered, which is fair enough, but there's a lot of imbalance between the AIs and how consistent they are over overall tracks. I tell you, I was watching a nice video from My Contrast, which was saying about why a lot of the cars are, why a lot of the AI cars are faster in certain tracks, but it didn't quite stop us from getting through into Q2, rather. Good lap for us, we saw us get through. We're not going to outdo Zhou Guanyu, but we have crucially outdone Oscar Piastri by a full second. So that's a good result for us, nonetheless, as we come through to what was probably one of our better runs in Q2. It's probably the fact this was our last one. I left it until quite late just to make sure that, oh, and Checo right in front of us. Hopefully he can get out of our way very quickly, and thankfully he does. And to come down into the straight and onto the very awkward, right? This first sector is just full of 90-degree corners, just make it so hard to decide where to brake or navigate. I can't really get much acceleration out the corners, despite entering them high gears. Understeered through there like crazy as well. So all things considered, I don't really feel this was my finest lap, but at least going through the castle section wasn't too painful. But as we come down into the next section, we upshift quite early. We go a little bit wide on the exit, which does ruin our run all the way through this sort of town section. As we come down now to I think this is probably the second trickiest corner in the game, using the curb on the outside as a reference point to brake. But that's Schumacher getting out of the way, so fair play to him. As we come now into the final stretch of the corner, and this is where the amount of downforce on our car will really hurt us, because we went quite high on the wings just to make sure we had enough grip to get through that second phase. But now through the straight, this feels like an eternity. And look at that, we're almost out of energy as well. So my hurts has come down to the final straight. We're down to 10%, which is where the energy starts to dip. But what's it going to be as it come across the line? Oh, it's P16. So that lap didn't get us any further. Given the time in the session, I could not set anything faster as well. We're 5/10 off Sebastian Vettel's time, which is just crazy. And we're almost a second behind Zhou Guanyu, our rival. So I think it's fair to say, I think we've lost this rivalry. We're not going to be able to overturn 4 points in one race. Not unless Zhou retires, not unless Zhou retires on the first lap. But it's going to be a very hard stretch to beat the Chinese driver in the Alfa Romeo now. Especially when we were that far back in qualifying.
Good afternoon and welcome from Baku. This was the arena, if you think back to 2017, of one of the most eventful races of modern history, with controversy behind the safety car, last-second overtakes, and a historic podium for Williams and for Lance Stroll. Let's find out what lies in store for us this year. It's time for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. The Baku city circuit measures roughly 6 kilometers, and it's made up of 20 corners and 2 DRS zones. The circuit winds around the narrow city, through the old town, and even brushes against the city's medieval walls. However, as beautiful as the setting is, this track is also a ferocious technical challenge, where the smallest of mistakes could lead to a catastrophic consequence for any one of our drivers. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. And the smooth operator Carlos Sainz completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Perez, George Russell, and Hamilton. Norris, Fernando Alonso, Ricciardo and Kevin Magnussen. Bottas, Joe, Pierre Gasly and Vettel. The owner driver, Ocon, Alex Albon and Yuki Tsunoda. Stroll, Oscar Piastri, Latifi and Mick Schumacher. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. Anthony Davis.
Cutting you off there, Crofty, as we all remember what happened in 2017. It was a race that had, let's just say, had a lot of argy-bargy. And argy-bargy is something I would like to avoid. You see, even with 11 wings, that's probably still too much downforce, as we just make some adjustments to the tyre pressures as well. In terms of the race director, looking at it looks like everybody is starting on the medium tyre, which means it's a level playing field in terms of strategy. Everyone will be doing the sort of assumed one stop, and then going on to the hard compound tyres later. We at least have a set of softs just in case anything goes south. And thankfully, I think I probably mentioned this on the last video as well, I can't really remember, but the tyre temperatures that are set are actually correct when you get off the grid now. So that adds to the realism of it all, and I'll tell you what, it was a lot more fun getting used to warming them up, as for some reason Esteban Ocon just overtakes us during the parade lap. Like, not really any reason given. He just clearly thought I was too slow or whatever, but the Alpine clearly getting ahead of us in terms of the formation lap. Thank you once again, Elvis, for your wise words of wisdom. As the 5 lights come on, we're not going to beat Zhou in our rivalry, but what can we salvage from this race? We are underway in the Baku Grand Prix, and it is a horrible start for us. Lots of wheel spin. Ocon passes us, and very soon Albon's going to pass us as well. As all carnage down on the first corners, everyone tries to stop hitting each other. As we have lost out of position to Vettel, Piastri is now ahead of Albon, but we're going to send it down the inside and hopefully not run into Sebastian. But we just don't have the grip to just floor it off the corner like we wanted to. Albon's catching us behind, and so is Piastri as we come down into turn 3. Now, can we attempt a late lunge on Vettel? Yes, we can, and we absolutely make that one work to get back into our grid starting position, just to make sure we haven't lost anything coming into that. Zhou is a massive moment coming out of the exit, as Vettel's now looking at the back of us as well. Vettel that overtakes us around the outside even, but we just kept the inside line there, which absolutely throws us off coming into the rest of the corner, as we're still behind. I think that's the AlphaTauri of Pierre Gasly as we're coming into the castle section on the end of lap 1. Take it very, very steady, and then onto the right and to the left, but we've understeered, and that's going to give Sebastian a decent run at us yet again. We're already a second behind Gasly, which just shows just how heavy this myteam car actually is. But going back to eye contrast video, apparently the coding given to the AI in terms of the car weights hasn't actually changed. So while we might feel a little bit more empowered of our car, the AI are apparently still unbalanced compared to the player. And he made a good point about using the league races as almost like the benchmark for the 110 AI, which I think is a great way to do it. But anywho, back to the race. Vettel is right behind us coming up to the start-finish straight now. The Aston still powered by Mercedes as we go very aggressively to defend against the Aston Martin. Sebastian, who in real life is retiring for Formula 1 at the end of this year, he goes to the inside of us, but he's got the move and he's got the position going into turn 1. We switch back brilliantly to make sure that he's covered. But we got up to lap 3. Everything pretty much stabilizes as Tsunoda managed to pass Vettel after our little battle as well. On lap 3, we got about 11% wear on the tyres, still about 12 or 13 on the rears. Now, this is a track that absolutely kills your rear tyres. Still find the AI to be slightly OP, but at least we're staying with them somewhat with 110 AI. And what in a car which they say is the 5th fastest on the track. But with DRS, this is going to be so easy for Tsunoda to pass us. So it's got the Red Bull powertrain, which is, to be fair, I'm not going to call it that. I'm going to call it a Honda, because it pretty much is. but we're going to attempt to switch back on Tsunoda like we did for Vettel. It's not going to work into turn 1, but we're going to try and see if we can get out of turn 2. We've got the DRS now. We're still about 30% energy as we're going to attempt a move on Yuki Tsunoda down the outside into turn 3. Can we make the move stick? We brake very, very early but cautiously, but we just about make it stick. Going round the outside of that corner, and that was very, very hard to pull off indeed. Given the weight of this car, it just doesn't agree with me. It just doesn't want to turn the way I want it to. As come down into lap 7, we have our first retirement of the race, and Lance Stroll looks like his engine's gone at... Oh, Lance, what are you doing? Just goes completely over the curb and just crashes straight into Mick Schumacher. But that's the first retirement as well. As if blowing the engine wasn't enough, you have to take off Mick's rear wing as well. As through into the end of lap 7, we're going to see what else is going on through the field as the Red Bulls of Sergio Perez and Max Verstappen battle amongst them. And this kind of civil warring between them, it's like what happened to Ferrari in the real-life Austrian Grand Prix, but instead of somebody driving away from them, it's actually got George Russell behind, who's reeling in both the Red Bulls of Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez. We've gone on board with Perez as he hasn't got DRS, but somehow he's managing to outdrag Verstappen into the next corner as the world champion refuses to give up. He goes round to the inside. Is Perez going to lose the place to Russell now? What are the Red Bulls doing? They're letting their Ferrari rivals get away, and after the patch, they surely must bring Ferrari closer to them. And by the next lap, George Russell goes ahead of one of the Red Bulls. And look at Max Verstappen. Yes, it is Russell. Crucially for Red Bull, has gotten ahead of the Red Bull. Not quite sure what I'm saying there, but Russell's not going to have DRS coming into turn 3. Verstappen is already long ahead of him, but this has really cost the world champion as Russell goes round to the outside and makes the move stick. Brilliant move there from George Russell, who is carrying that Mercedes way beyond anything that it should be. It's the third fastest car, but for me, the Red Bull is the fastest car so far in this game. As we go now back to us at the end of lap 8, Tsunoda absolutely leaves us for dead coming at the end of lap 8. And on to lap 9 for us. We're still way, way back, but we are going to find it very, very hard to defend against Sebastian Vettel now. But we're going to try and get a move back on Yuki Tsunoda. We have to remember our rival Zhou Guanyu is getting all the way away from us here in this career mode. In terms of our rivalry, we're certainly going to lose out at this rate as he is over 6 seconds ahead of us now. He was actually ahead of Gasly just before we lost track. But Tsunoda's locked up. Tsunoda's locked up and we actually overtake him there. Brilliant stuff for us as we've dropped behind, as you'll see, nearly 7 seconds behind the Alfa Romeo, which is so, so crucial. The Ferrari is still the best power unit in this career mode. That's right, I thought all the patches would have applied to this career mode series, but I think there's a bit of inconsistency there. As Tsunoda goes down to the inside of what... You can't overtake there. Well, it looks like he's done it. Tsunoda is overtaking us, but we've got the inside line coming into the castle section. Well, what's it going to be? Oh, there's a little bit of contact. Yuki Tsunoda's front wing, I think, is gone, but that is going to put us right into the clutches of Sebastian Vettel in the Aston Martin, and Oscar Piastri as well, not too far behind as well. We are having an absolute ding-dong battle here. First, Tsunoda is currently in the wall, but Sebastian Vettel looks like he's going to try the inside, and he's hit us! Sebastian Vettel has hit us, just like Lance Stroll did to Mick Schumacher's. What is with you Aston Martins and using that corner to absolutely annihilate somebody's front wing? What the hell are you doing? I know Lawrence Stroll has all the money in the world to fix the damage, but come on! That was not what I needed at all, as we do not hold up Yuki Tsunoda at all. Would not have been a wise thing to do on our part. We got to come in now and go onto the hards early, because Sebastian Vettel just lost his brain completely at that corner, just as his teammate did. It looks like maybe they're just the perfect match for each other. Who knows? As Tsunoda's got to come in as well, thanks to the damage from us. But I had the inside line there. I know he was ahead, but I had the inside, and he should have backed out of it. Not taking the blame for that one at all. As we try to get our front wing changes, it's going to be an optimal stop. Thankfully, the boys are well trained, and we don't have to invest that much in the pit crew. It's something that so far hasn't gone wrong for me. At least I can be thankful. They're a bit more consistent than my engine, put it that way. but we've now come out. We've actually done ahead of Vettel, thankfully. So that is instant karma for him right there. As the two Ferraris, as the leader of Carlos Sainz comes in at the moment. And this was just after his teammate Leclerc came in the previous lap. So Ferrari have obviously got it absolutely made out up in front. But with Carlos on cold tyres versus Leclerc on heated up primes, I reckon Leclerc will do him quite easily, because Sainz does not have the tyre temperature to fight him around the outside of or the inside rather of a particular corner. Charles Leclerc, they're pretty much level though, but Leclerc gets the outside line, which has been so useful for this race, and the two Ferraris are out in front. And providing anything goes wrong, this is the Ferrari would have definitely have wanted in real life. We managed to keep Sebastian at bay behind us, but oh, he's dropped back quite a long way there. So, I don't know, maybe he had some contact coming out that corner, just to add a little bit more karma to Vettel's day. But Tsunoda dropped us completely, as we're down now in 20th place. And now, unless there's a safety car that will allow us to go into the softs, we're really not going to salvage anything from this race. And that will mean the rivalry will certainly go to Zhou Guanyu. As you see behind, yes, Vettel coming into the pits. But it was quite a lonely race from us, it has to be said there, guys. But now we see in front, Lewis Hamilton is out of the session. By lap 22, we've got a safety car. Now this is our chance. We could pit for softs now, and hopefully come out with a chance to challenge for some points. Now let's see what happened with the two. Oh, and that was Nicholas Latifi going into Lewis Hamilton, putting the Mercedes out. What is with Latifi and crashes and ruining Lewis Hamilton's race? I'm detecting a bit of a pattern here, and not a particularly good one for Lewis. I mean, Red Bull will be absolutely jumping for joy right now, but Latifi's had to come in for pits, and if we're honest, serves him right. The back markers should not be getting in the way of the race leader, something so stupid as that. But the boys put in a really good stop, 2.3, so brilliant stop for the guys there at IRL Spark Racing. But we come out on lap 23, and we've got to catch the field so quickly, because the way these games work, oh god, I think I might have actually made a bit of a mistake here. They got to catch really by the end of this lap, but look how far everyone is a grid. That's not going to happen. The safety car has actually been called in at the end of this lap, so that has just blown any chance that we would have had of gaining points in this race thanks to a late safety car, because we're 18 seconds away from the TV, and he's not going to catch the pack, even though the Ferraris of Leclerc and Sainz are just backing the field up as carefully as they are. We are not going to catch Latifi. Latifi's not going to catch Tsunoda. So that is effectively it for us for this race. So all we can do is just drive as well as we can and just set the fastest lap possible for us. But that was a horrible way for me to end this race. It just, nothing went right. And that will give the rivalry certainly to Zhou Guanyu. The two Ferraris will turn up quite dominant as well, so good on them. Charles Leclerc will win the race from Carlos Sainz, but as for us, 15 seconds back from the TP, Vettel put us in the wall. Nothing quite went right in this Baku. The AI were not just OP, but insanely stupid. We crashed over the line because I just do not give two shits anymore. 20th place, but at least we haven't retired.
Race here in Azerbaijan. There's drama around every corner, but they've come through to take a brilliant victory here today. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
I really feel the track layout combined with the track temperatures we saw today suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. It just looks so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
Ferrari are at it again. An excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there.
You know, part of me was kind of hoping for another funny glitch at the end of the race, like what happened with the last video, but no, this game just decides to make my life as horrid as it was before. But anyway, Charles Leclerc wins. Piastri and I sadly just did not get anywhere near the points. But our goal was only to get 25 points with our key sponsor, so it's not the end of the world yet. But we just got to make sure that with 100 AI, we need to improve. We've got next race, we've got Canada, which is another straight line track. The AI are going to be probably even more OP over there as well. But in terms of the driver standings, it's going to be a whitewash so far for Ferrari. And Lewis Hamilton just getting no luck at all. Alonso doing well for Alpine, but we're still in 9th place in the standings. We're still at least ahead of Aston Martin. And Vettel, who you may remember from my last My Team Career Mode series, was actually my big rival. So if you guys have come in from my previous My Team Career Mode series, obviously thank you so much. And I hope you obviously got the joke there about Vettel. But once again, the game decides to at least be nice to me and give me 4 ticks instead of 3. But I think that confirms the rivalry has been won by Mr. Zhou Guanyu. So obviously GG's to him. And thankfully, we finished the race, so my driver acclaim doesn't go down anymore. But now we've got to get our 3rd sponsor now. That's the key thing for our team acclaim, because without it, we're not going to be able to get the funds or whatever we need to get the team up. Piastri managed to finish in the top 14, which managed to give us a little bit more from our 2nd sponsor bonus. And our base payout, we're going to leave us about 4 million in the bank, so we have to think about where we can distribute that across our team. So coming into the next round in Canada, there's only about a week away, so not much we can do in terms of upgrades. But thank you guys so much for watching, and we're going to leave the next poll here. At least we've got the cylinder head upgrade improved. What we're going to do for our next episode is this. I think the AI are a little bit crazy. I may have a nicer time turning it down to maybe about 90, 95. But I'm going to let you guys make the decision. Should I turn the AI down? You can either vote yes, or you can tell me to stop being such a wimp on my Discord panel. So if you guys want to vote, then obviously make sure to join my Discord and cast your votes if you want to see your decisions reflected in this My Team Career Mode series. We're going to end the video there, guys. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you like the video, then do leave a like and subscribe. Well, I'm so close to that 100, so any little bit more support I can get will really help me out on my eventual quest for world domination and all that rubbish. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you guys next time in Canada. I've been Spark. Bye-bye.